Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and today I'm going to do a review for one of Rainbow Loom's latest products, and it is the silicone oil. So it comes in a 20 milliliter bottle, and the cost is $2.99, and it is absolutely worth every penny. So it says right on the front, it makes your rubber bands last longer and makes them easier to loom, and that's exactly what it does. So I have found that the Rainbow Loom brand of rubber bands actually holds up very well over time. I've actually been doing this for 2.5 years, and some of my earliest creations here, which were initially bracelets, you can see here's one of the first ones I ever made, and this was the double cross fishtail. And you can see here that it basically looks like I could have just made it yesterday. It's in excellent condition. Here's another example of something that I made a little over a year ago, and this is my spiral wrap for my charging cord, and I use this constantly. It goes with me all over the place, and if you take a close look you can see, let me just get this clear, that I did use a mix of rubber bands. The purple and the yellow are not Rainbow Loom brand, and you can actually see how these bands are starting to literally disintegrate, but the Rainbow Loom brand are fine. So those are just some small examples of how the Rainbow Loom brand of bands do hold up very well over time. But having said that, they are a rubber band, and over time they will eventually break down. So that's why Rainbow Loom has come out with the silicone oil, and I will show you some examples of how you can use this. Now I have 2 packages of Rainbow Loom bands here. I have the white latex-free color bands that I use quite often, and then I have a yellow-pink dual band. And actually I'm not really quite sure why it's called yellow-pink, because the colors are really 2 different shades of orange, but they also say latex-free color bands. But I have found that these are much harder to work with because they're more rubbery. They don't glide against one another. So let me just show you the difference on my hook here. Here is the white, and when I slide this along the metal, it goes nice and smooth. When I take the dual layer here and I go, you can see that it's just completely twisting around. So that's why I typically have shied away from the dual layer bands and the silicone bands. But now with this silicone oil, it's going to make these bands so much easier to work with, and that's just going to open up a whole new world of color possibilities. Now I found that the easiest way to coat your bands is to just get a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, and then just take your color, and then you're going to take your rubber bands and just dump them into the Ziploc bag. And then you're just going to take your oil, and let me just open this up and show you what the oil actually looks like. It comes with this little brush applicator, so it's like a bottle of whiteout or some nail polish, and it's totally clear, and it really has very little odor. If you really put your nose up to it, you can smell just a tiny little bit, but it doesn't have an overpowering smell to it at all, so that's really nice. And what you're going to do is just get a decent amount on your brush here. I mean, you don't want it to be dripping off and make a mess, but just brush inside the bag. So I'm going to do, I would say maybe about 4 brushfuls here. And I'm trying to kind of get it in 4 different spots here. And I would say it would be good to try less first. You can always add more, but if you get too much on, it's a little bit harder to remove the excess. So then you're just going to seal your bag. And then you're just going to take a few minutes and really work this oil all the way around. So use your fingers and spread apart the bands. Now if you take one of your rubber bands out and you glide that across your hook, you should see that it's not going to twist and turn. It should stay relatively straight for you. So then if you want to, you can just leave them in this bag, or you can just put them back in their original bag. Now to apply the oil to your creations, if you have something small that would fit inside of a Ziploc bag, you can just put this in. Now my bag already has some oils in it from coating the other rubber bands. So you're just going to really spread this around. Just work the plastic bag, make sure that the oil is rubbing against every part. So I think this should be plenty of oil left in this bag to really coat my little bunny peep. If you wanted to, you could use your fingers and also sort of work the oils in. And it's actually pretty nice. If you do this on your fingers, you'll find that it's not extra greasy. And if you, of course, go wash your hands, it'll come right off. But even if you didn't wash your hands and you had it on, if you just sort of rub it in, it does tend to go away pretty quickly, and it doesn't leave your hands with a super greasy feeling. Now, if you had a larger creation that you wanted to preserve, you could use the bottle and just take the brush and apply it. That's the way that Chun shows it in his video. And honestly, I think that gives just a little bit too much oil in each particular spot. Now, in Kate Schultz's video from Isalicious Designs, she applies it to her fingers and then massages it in. And that's a good idea too, but maybe you don't want to have all the oil all over your fingers. So what you could do is to use rubber gloves to prevent that. Or what I'm going to show is I'm just going to take my Ziploc bag that I've already used, and I'm just going to turn it inside out. So now the oily part is on the outside, so I'm just basically using this Ziploc bag as if it were a rubber glove. And I do already have some oil left on the bag, so I'm just going to spread it around. And then if I need to add a little bit more, I'll just take the brush and sort of brush this and spread it out over the plastic so it's not all in one spot. And then I can just spread it around here. I want to make sure that I get every part, so I'm going to do the outside as well as the inside of the bag. So I can't say enough good things about this silicone oil. I think it is really excellent. And especially if you do the Loomigurumi projects or any of these other really intricate designs that take you hours upon hours, you really want to preserve all of your hard work, and this is an excellent product to do so. And speaking of things that we work really hard on and take a long time to design and create, I have a sneak peek at my latest Loomigurumi creation. So if you can't tell, this is Olaf from Frozen. So it is a work in progress. I've actually had a lot of personal things going on right now that have taken away from my time to loom and to film. But I have spent quite a bit of time on designing this little guy, and I'm anxious to get the body finished and the tutorial made so everyone else can enjoy him as well. So I'm hoping that they will have this available at stores. I know it's available on rainbowloom.com, and I think I did read that they will have it available at Learning Express. I haven't heard anything about Michael's. I did check the Michael's website, and I did check my local Michael's, and they didn't know anything about it. But it's definitely something that you can keep an eye out for. and if I find out any more information of where else it might be available, I will definitely add it to the description of this video. Thanks for watching!